like to call this meeting of the Show City Council to order, show that all council members are present. Thank you all for being here. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. We appreciate you showing up tonight, but come back in a couple of weeks. We'd like to see you in the audience. At this time, I ask Councilman Hatch to lead us in the invocation, and the Pledge of Allegiance will be Councilman Adams. If you'd like to join us, please rise.
Our kind and gracious Heavenly Father, as we come before Thee this evening for the Show City Council meeting, we ask a blessing on this community and on those that are suffering with illness and those that have lost dear ones and their family. We ask that Thou will bless our first responders, our personnel that work at the hospital in such close proximity to this illness. We thank Thee for the moisture that we've gotten this week, and we ask that if it be Thy will, we would receive more to get us through this coming fire season. Again, we thank Thee and we love Thee, and we ask Thee to be with us tonight and through this week. And we say this in the name of Thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You were supposed to watch it, so I didn't sit down.
You guys looked at me like in shock back there. No, we really want you to come back. I was serious. Next agenda item is call to the public. Any citizen like to address the council may do so at something that's not on the agenda, may do so at this time. Seeing nobody move, we'll move right along to special events. Terry, I'll just turn this over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council, and those watching on television. Tonight, the members of the Veterans of Foreign Wars, Post 9907 here in Shola, would like to make a presentation to Firefighter of the Year, EMT of the Year, and Police Officer of the Year for 2020. This was meant to be done last month, but unfortunately, not everybody was available. So at this time, I would like to call Miles Larson. We would like to present Miles Larson with a paramedic award presented to Miles Larson in special recognition of exemplary service to humanity by administering emergency medical assistance for 2020. Sir? Stand over there for a second. Next, I would like to present Firefighter Award presented to J.D. Pepper, if you'll come forward, sir. In special recognition and highest praise for alertness, personal courage, and ever-vigilant guardianship of life and property, presented to you by the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States. I'd like to now call James Barber up front. Law Enforcement Award is presented to James Barber in grateful recognition of unyielding adherence to the highest ideals of law enforcement in maintaining and preserving and protecting the lawful rights of all citizens by the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States. Thank you very much. It is our honor to present you with this award, and hopefully continue to do a fine job for our community of Sholo. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for this opportunity. Thank you very much. High praise.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Terry. And thank you guys for what you do in our community. We appreciate everything.
Thank you very much.
Next month, I'll come by and give you an update on community service.
Sounds good. Thank you, Terry. Appreciate that. All right, moving right along to special events. Presentation of the mid-year financial report. Mr. Johnson.
Evening, Mayor, council members. Definitely feel underdressed tonight. Don't know why, not shiny enough, sparkly.
And I'm overdressed.
I noticed that.
Second time I wore a tie all year.
It's not even picture day. Good. So tonight I've prepared just a mid-year financial report, just an update on where we're at with our financials, revenues, and expenditures for fiscal year 2021. We're going to do an overview as we look through the charts and graphs. As a reminder, most of the reports are mid-year, so the 50% is the mark. So for revenues, we want to be at 50 or above, and expenditures, we typically want to be below that number. We have our general fund revenue and expenses. We have the sales tax chart. We have key revenues and expenses as compared to the budget, and then we'll also take a look at the debt service. So in our first table, if you look down at the bottom right, you'll see that overall our general fund revenues are at 58% compared to 50% of the year completed. So we're performing well there. One thing I will say is with our taxes and franchise taxes, some of those for December haven't been recorded, so this number is actually a little lower as we're reporting it tonight because they haven't been recorded yet, but we'll get to the breakdown on the sales tax and get a little more data on those. So generally speaking, all of these are performing pretty well. You'll notice the Parks and Recreation's down a little, and that's because of our events being either canceled or postponed. So hopefully when the numbers for COVID get better, we'll be able to start having more events and generate some more revenue for recreation. Any questions on the revenues? Yes.
Just as clarification, the permits and fees at 124%, is that building permits and fees?
That's included in there, yes. And we always budget that low just because of, probably mostly because of the last Great Recession. Mm-hmm. So we keep that number pretty low. So typically that's going to be one of our top performers when compared to the budget.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The next table is the general fund expenses. If you look at the bottom, we're at 28.5%, so well below our expenditures of 50% through the mid-year. The one that is above is the city magistrate court, and the reason for that is we do have a large payment per our agreement with the county that requires us to pay that all in July. So there's a big chunk that comes annual. That it does happen in other departments too, but that's the only one that's really above 50%. So I wanted to point that out. Any questions on the general fund expenses? This is our sales tax chart for the last 5 completed years. And then in the green, starting on the left in July, you'll see fiscal year 21. As you've seen in the monthly reports, the sales tax is performing pretty well, about 20% on average per month ahead of last year, which was our best year that we've had. And Ed and I participated in a virtual conference for the Arizona city managers. And just to give a reference, there are a few cities that talked about their numbers, and we're probably a little bit below where some of the other cities are, but probably average overall as far as our collections go. So I think we heard one that was as high as 30%, another one that was about 26%. So around 20 to 21 is a pretty good number. Any questions on this one? Then just a few charts. The state shared revenues performing a little better than expected at 57.2%. The general fund and HURF revenues at 55%, close to 11 million through December. Fines and forfeitures at 73%. For airport revenue at 72%. I know Tom has reported in staff meetings that the fuel sales has been very good in the last few months. I think he reported that for January, it was the highest January in the last 5 years by quite a lot. So
they are selling a lot of fuel there. Then our utility fund revenues, due to the way our utility billing is set up on the monthly basis, this is actually only 5 months of revenues collected. So with water, we're right there, being 1 month short. With wastewater, we're right on track with where it should be once that 6th month comes in and gets recorded. And the same with sanitation, is comparable to water, close to the benchmark with 1 month short. So all of those are performing either as expected or a little better. And our expenses in the utility funds, all well below the water and wastewater. For projects, a lot of those will get going in the spring, so there's kind of a slow time. With sanitation, it's more consistent month to month, which is why the expenses are closer to 50%. And then here's a look at our debt service, trending down since 2019. We paid off a couple of loans there, and we have been in contact with our financial advisor, and every year they look at our debt service to see if anything's callable, if we can pay it off early. And we don't have any opportunities this year to do that, but we'll keep track of that. We are looking at potentially doing a refinancing on the public safety bond. The rate's about half of what we're currently paying, so we're looking into that currently. Any questions on debt service? That's all I have prepared for tonight. Can I answer any questions from the council?
No council members have any questions? You're doing such a fine job. We don't have anything to ask you. Oh, Councilman also.
And I was just going to, that's exactly what I was going to say. You know, we're looking at all the debt services and try to play it off. I think that's what the public looks for us to do, is try to pay as much debt off as we can, even though we know that we have to go into debt on some of the major issues that we do. So I definitely want to thank you and Kara for going after that, and the other staff members and my city manager. So I definitely appreciate that type of action is taken on. I think that's a big savings for us and for our budget and for everything else we have to pay for. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Thank you, Justin. Appreciate it. All right, moving right along to the consent calendar. Is there any council members that want to pull anything off the consent calendar? Seeing nobody. Consideration of award of a contract for utility bill mailing, consideration of reappointment of board members to the Shoalo Municipal Property Corporation, consideration of the minutes of the Shoalo City Council meeting, and consideration of the regular meeting of January 19th. I need a motion.
I'll move to approve the consent calendar.
Got a motion and a second?
I'll second.
Councilman Hatch. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Thank you. Moving right along, new business, consideration of award of a contract for biosolids transport and disposal. Mr. Cup.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The City of Shoalo Wastewater Treatment Plant generates treated waste material known as biosolids. This material must be disposed of in a method approved by the Arizona Department of Environmental Quality. These disposal methods include landfilling and land application. The city has contracted with Waste Management to haul biosolids to an approved landfill. That contract has since expired. In December 2020, staff solicited bids for removing and transporting the biosolids. The bid was for a term of 5 years with 2 one-year extensions. 2 bids were received with following results. Silver Creek Farms, $93,800. Waste Management, $116,804. Silver Creek Farms submitted a proposal to use land application as the main disposal method. However, there may be times where landfilling may be necessary. The unit price provided by the contractor will not change regardless of the disposal method. The contractor will also provide any required testing at no additional cost to the city. The contract allows for price adjustments up or down after the first year based on the published construction price index. Staff recommends awarding the contract for biosolids transport and removal to for the City of Show Low project number S1321 to Silver Creek Farms in an amount not to exceed $93,800.
Has anybody got a question? Vice Mayor.
What was our cost for 2020 for removal of biosolid?
I knew somebody would ask that. It was $135,000 for the year.
What do you attribute the savings to, I guess? Why has the cost been reduced?
The contract that we had with Waste Management before was an adder to the sanitation services that they provide the city. So when we bid it competitively, the prices came down quite a bit.
They don't use it for gardening, do they?
Actually, Silver Creek Farms is going to land apply it on some farm fields in the Taylor Snowflake area. And it's basically for growing, I think he grows sunflowers and he makes biofuel out of it. And there may be some food crops that he can grow for livestock.
Oh, that makes sense. Thank you. Anybody else have any? Councilman Alsop.
Bill, how many times a year or how many years in a row, or do we skip any years of cleaning these sewer things out?
The current plan or plant, we don't need to do that anymore.
Okay.
We used to have to dredge those, and we tried to dredge them every 5 years. It usually drug on a little bit longer than every 5 years. We do still have the South Lagoon, which was the existing lagoon for the old plant, and we do have plans on removing the biosolids or whatever sludge is left in the bottom of that. It's very, very stable because it's so old. Eventually, we're going to remove that material. We'll probably fill 2/3 of that South Lagoon and use the other third for an attenuation basin. In case we have an issue with our plant, we can actually pump raw effluent into that storage area where that lagoon used to be.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. Anything else? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Looking for a motion, Vice Mayor.
I'll do the motion. Oh, go ahead.
I move to award the contract for biosolids transport and disposal for the City of Show Low project number S-1321 to Silver Creek Farms in an amount not to exceed $93,800 per year.
Thank you. I got a motion and a second. Any other questions or concerns? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving right along. Summary of current events. Any council members have anything they would like to bring up? Hopefully soon. Councilman Alsop.
Thank you. First thing I want to do is I'd like to thank Tamara for all her years of service, and I hope she went out in a happy note. According to the pictures I see on Facebook, it looked like she had a great time. So I want to thank her for all her service and hope that her and Jim can have a great retirement and enjoy what's out there. So next thing is met with the Meals on Wheels, some of the board members, Dan and Wiley and Steve, and with Jay, Ed, and myself, and talked over different issues that they're trying to change and try to get cleaned up. And so hopefully we'll know a little bit more on that in a few months of what's going on. I do have to talk a little bit. I believe it was brought up in the last council meeting about the COVID-19, the shots. I had my first shot on January 8th, and my second shot is due this Friday, and it took me forever to get anything where I can have that shot. And if it wasn't for the two ladies that I walked in and seen at the hospital, I don't think I would have been scheduled for the shot. I probably called 30 times and went on the computer to try to settle that. So I know I get a lot of people asking, what can they do? What can they do? And I say, you just got to keep on trying. And if you can't get anywhere, then you just need to go down to the hospital or go over to the other places and just see if they can help you out. But if it wasn't because of my little card I received on 1/8, I probably would never got my second shot or even got ready for the second shot. So please, you have to be patient. You have to be persistent to get, especially your second shot. So please, it's a time-consuming thing, but you can work through it. So, second is I like if you guys can we always support the Sholo High School and junior high and elementary school, but Sholo High School basketball is playing now. They're playing in Winslow tonight. So root them on, and hopefully they can make it through that. And like Mayor was talking about, the budget reviews is in the next couple of weeks. Please go on to the Sholo website and look at that budget review. And if you would like to come down and voice your concern about how we budget or how much we budget or why we're not budgeting for certain things, please feel free to come down and talk and voice your opinion. And the last thing is, I would like to wish my grandson, Ruger Seeley, for a happy 18th birthday. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Alsop. And I'd like to wish my granddaughter a happy 10th birthday. That's where I just came from. That's why I'm so fancied up right tonight. Got to dress up for her, you know, for supper. Anybody want any seconds?
We had a Sholo Chamber board meeting last week, just to let the council know there was a new president who was put in. It was Trish Spear with Recreation Resource Management. And then Angie Fabin with Summit was going to be the vice president. And Neil Traver with APS is currently the treasurer for that group. So they're in great hands. I think Tricia has some great ideas moving forward. They're just going to continue the continuity that we've had before that Mr. Hefner had. And so I'm excited about that. And they're already starting to work on the possibility of Sholo days and stuff like that. So I think that we're hopeful that we might be able to have an event like that here in the summertime. So
Thank you. And we are starting to plan a few events in Sholo, our barbecue contest as well. We're hoping, you know, the governor changes the order, COVID gets better where we can have these events, but we got to start moving forward and start planning them because, you know, you can't do it a month ahead of time. I appreciate that.
yeah.
All righty. Yes.
It's not necessarily a current event, but I just want to remind people that when you have a law enforcement officer pulled over on the side of the road, you need to move over. Twice now I have seen where cars are not moving over or an ambulance coming up and the ambulance is running hot and those cars just won't move over for them on Highway 77 today. And it's like very important that you move over so that they can get past you, or you move over so that the safety of the officer out on the street.
Thank you, Don. Appreciate that. All righty. City manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple things to report from the Recreation Department. They'll be hosting a Valentine's date night drive-in movie on Friday, February 12th at the City Campus Gym. The tickets are $10. They'll include a wrapped rose and a Valentine treat. And then also on February 12th, there'll be a kids' night out for ages 5 to 12 from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Aquatic Center. And the cost of that is $10 or $15. And also from Recreation, softball registration began February 1st for spring one pitch co-ed softball. The games will begin after spring break. And for information on any of our recreation events, you can call 532-4140. And then some of the public works projects going on, the contractor continues to work on the water line crossings that was approved by the council. There's one crossing, the final crossing will be on the Deuce Clubs near the Victorian building. That's scheduled to begin next week. West Cooley Phase 2 sewer along West Cooley and 6th and 8th Avenues is continuing. And we continue to work on the fence in the meadow, our contractor does, and that'll be a great addition to that meadow. And we thank all our citizens for the patience as we work on these projects and other projects in the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Appreciate that. All righty, moving right along. Scheduling of meetings. Do we have anything coming up? Nothing yet? All right. Well, if there's no more business before the council, I'll adjourn this meeting. Thank you, guys.
Mayor.
Thank you.
I was thinking we were going to do